All right, welcome everyone for the first MuleSoft study group of the year. This is the first one. We took a little break and glad to be back at it. Glad to be back doing it. We've got Diane today in the study group. She's going to be delivering on RPA, IDP, and just taking it from there. I've got a couple things to show like I always do, and then we'll let her take it over. So like we've been saying, everybody's been doing great. We just like to throw out the disclaimer. If your mom and dad said not to do it or wouldn't told you not to do it, then don't do it and we'll be great. Everything's been awesome there. Still getting a lot of different comments and subscribers. The subscribers are still growing. I was just looking at that on YouTube. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go over to the integration class library where you can see all these archived videos. Even today's video, if you're watching this, then you know it's on there. But new videos will also be put on there in the future. So go check it out, subscribe, and drop a comment. I love replying back to people and saying hello. So like I said, we've got Diane today, lots of experience and lots of certifications. But like I always say, y'all can check out all those certifications and all the experience, but that doesn't mean anything if somebody isn't willing to share it. So she's willing to come here and share all this expertise today. So we're so thankful for that. Very thankful that she's coming here and presenting and sharing some experience and what she's been building out and doing. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to stop sharing so she can do that. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Let me share my screen and we will get started.
As always, if anybody has questions in the chat, please put them in there and I'll keep an eye on the chat for you and let you know that somebody's asking something. That way you're not having to monitor that also.
That sounds great. That sounds great. I appreciate that, RJ. And I'm going to turn my camera off. Sometimes my bandwidth is a little tricky, so I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off. And there you go. Yeah, I'm going to. Okay, so welcome. This is really going to end up being probably the first of a couple different series when it comes to robotic process automation. I know our title is RPA, IDP, and AI. And so the idea behind this is, what digital workers do we have that we can facilitate to solution what is needed to automate a company's workflow or many workflows? Maybe not just one, might be many. So in the case of what we have here, our focus will be on robotic process automation. Okay. But we want to talk about the integration landscape. What are the different automation tools? And then we're going to do the RPA deep dive. Now, we are budgeted for an hour. I know we can sometimes go over that a little bit. We're going to see how this goes. But I do think the more I got into it, the more I realized we're probably going to have to divide this out into a couple of different segments, which is fine. But at any rate, I could certainly go on a marathon and would love to. But, other people might have things they need to do this afternoon. So anyway, here we go. So when it comes to an integration landscape, all right, when we are consulting with a customer and they have a need for integration, it will look like a lot of different components. It's not going to be a cookie cutter. I only need this to do that. And it's going to be very easy. And there's only one option. Okay. Well, this is a view of a larger enterprise. And this landscape gives you an idea of what the various possibilities are. So in this case, we can see that, we've got some Agentforce agents over here. All right. And utilizing those Agentforce agents are the AI technology that we talk about. All right. And we also have intelligent document processing. Intelligent document processing happening here. And that also is using AI through here. And so many of these will work off of APIs that we can create within MuleSoft or outside of MuleSoft that can be invoked so that we have access to that data, as is the case with intelligent document processing. That actually will create, when you do intelligent document processing, it creates a RESTful API with two different endpoints, one to send in the document, the other to retrieve the JSON results. Okay, so we have an API here. We've got different APIs as you see here. That's all nice and buttoned up. But what if you have one of your integrations that's, for example, like this legacy system down here that does not have an API? And so therefore, how are you going to interact with that? Other than a human in the loop that, or not even just in the loop, a human that has to go out and do some of the information needed. Okay, what do you do then? So this is where you're going to see the power that robotic process automation brings to the table for you to use as your tool set. Okay, so when we look at the hyperautomation SKU or offering that we have with Salesforce and that they're offering in the hyperautomation package, what we are going to see, one second, let it open for you here, is the automation entitlements. Okay, and they can sell just a starter automation. There's various things like that. But in the automation SKU, we have intelligent document processing. We've got RPA manager, and we have composer, which is a low-code way of creating flows to interact with your APIs and your robotic process automation. So at any rate, this is your automation SKU. Now, you can't, sadly, you cannot build this out unless you have an account that's entitled. The trial accounts do not have this. So if you're wanting to be hands-on, you need to reach out to us. We've got a deal that we could allow you to use our partner org. So just let us know. We will get you access to this. Okay. Little fee involved, but we've got some deals going. So reach out to us if you want to do hands-on. Now in this SKU, as you see, we've got a secure API, we've got robotic process automation and composer. And in addition to hyper automation offerings, we also bundle, or I shouldn't say bundle, we also encourage the use of Salesforce and flow orchestration to streamline your solutioning as well. Okay. And of course, Agentforce is all part of this big picture. How is that the case? Let's look into the options here of what is available. So with a REST API, this is a system API that is created. And so this is standard. You know, we use in this case, this is RAML. We create the design. We go ahead and create the actual Mule application that gets data from the database. And this is a system API. All right. The AI components of Agentforce are able to use that system API to extract data from for them to make decisions with. Okay. So now this enhances not only what the system API brings into the picture. Okay. So our system API alone will serve up data about promotions for the car, the parts that are needed, the service entry, you know, so this is in and of itself an asset that's very usable. But now we have, again, like I said, the agents able to access this information as well and provide, if this is with the agents being on the Salesforce side in a Salesforce org, then the agent can in turn gather information about what promotions that the customer may want to utilize by way of that system API. That's how they all work together. Okay. So I wanted to bring Salesforce into it as well. So you can kind of get an understanding of the Salesforce role here. Now, to touch over intelligent document processing, that is also part of the SKU of the hyperautomation. And we are able to extract data off of documents. And in this case, it's showing data being extracted off of a document to determine if they're hireable or not. I don't know if you've ever posted, a job hiring and you get like 200 or 300 different resumes sent to you. It's painful to go through those resumes one at a time or try to weed out which ones really qualify and which ones don't. And so we can use intelligent document processing to assess that information. And that is in the resume category. Now, what happens with this is that actually gets published in Exchange as an endpoint. Again, to send, like I said, to send the documents in, all of the documents, and retrieve them back with their detailed JSON information. And all of that is handled through your Mule application. Okay, so it's actually a connector for your Mule application. More on this one, futuristic, but again, our focus today is on robotic process automation. Okay, robotic process automation comes with a life cycle. Now, what this does is you will determine, as is the case we saw in our landscape of our enterprise, that we have a legacy system that we need to get data from. Doesn't have an API, doesn't have, any way of us getting that information. Or maybe go back to that resume idea. Maybe we've got candidates and now we need to validate their certifications. Okay, whatever the use case is here, we need to evaluate if it is a good fit for robotic process automation. Is it a good fit for RPA? So you're going to see us. I'm going to explain each of these steps as we go through it and what they mean. And you'll get a feel for, us evaluating a process. Then we'll go into the design phase, in which case we're going to record this process. And I'm going to show you a video because it will take a little more time to actually build it out. But I'm going to show you a video of a bot actually running with the recorder. And then the build phase is much more detailed. And then we will, you can actually see the step-by-step processes in the build itself. Okay, so this, as we go through the right side, you're going to see the phases of robotic process automation. And then once we're satisfied with the build, the detailed build here, then we're going to come around and it will go into the test mode. And this is where we will install a bot on our virtual machine. And that bot will in turn be tested and pushed into production once it's satisfied. So as we continue through here again, and like I said, you can't do this in an hour. So I'm going to set you up today and then continue going forward from there. So we may have a part 2, RJ, FYI. And did you say that next week we don't have a speaker?
That's correct. It just so happens that next week is open. So, hey, that sounds good to me.
Claiming it. Part 2 is next Friday. Okay. Part 2 is next Friday.
That'll work. Perfect.
All right.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's roll with this. And then you'll see in ops how it's actually working. Now, if you want to observe, you got the recording, that's great. If you want to be hands-on keyboard as we're doing this, reach out to us. Today's an intro, and then we'll actually, I'll be showing you a lot that's already done, But then we will go through, I'll get you set up before next Friday, and you can be hands-on keyboard and do this whole thing. Sound exciting? What do y'all think? Put it in the chat. Let me know. Does that sound like a plan? We'll make it happen. All right. So let me bring you into any point with the entitlement for robotic process automation. So we're going to go to the RPA manager. Okay. And with the RPA manager, this is kind of our starting point. Now I've got some processes that I've already worked on here that you're going to see these run on a little video clip that I have. Nonetheless, this is the RPA manager. So welcome to the RPA manager. Let me hop back over to our slides real quick. What you're going to see in RPA manager is how we can actually go through, evaluate a process if it's suitable, build out a design, and then actually have the bot come into play. Okay. So in this whole process, the first step of the life cycle, if you recall, is to evaluate this process. All right. Now, a lot of people say, do you really have to do this every time you do a bot? No, you don't. But let me tell you this. If you are on a project, or if you're doing a proof of concept or a feasibility study for someone, you would want to do a evaluation, because this is going to capture that it is feasible and recommended for a RPA process, okay, for an RPA bot. All right. And that's why I want you to be sure you're aware of that, is that it is, you know, one of those elements that you want to be able to use as a tool, and it's the best tool to use for it. If there was an API for this website, that would be different. So I've got a couple of examples here. This is one of the websites here that I use for training, and you will use this one as well. And so what we have here is the an EMS transport list that we need to download, but we have to log in first. Okay, so there's a login that needs to be done. Then we need to download this transport list. So depending upon the use case, will have a bearing of what the bot would need to do. All right. So what we will do is we will assess what this actual website seems to be like. How long does it take someone to run through this process? All of the evaluation portion. And if you plan to sit for the certification for hyperautomation, you must know these key features. Okay, so let's take a look at those real quickly here. I'm not going to actually do an entire evaluation, but notice there's some quick links here. So I'll go to the evaluation. And in here, I'm just going to do a test eval. Okay, we'll do all of this together for those of you that are ultimately going to be hands-on keyboard. Okay, and now there's a template. We're going to use the default template here. And I'm just going to say test evaluation and go to save. Okay, so it's going to bring me to that sheet that you saw, which has this cool little matrix thing over here. And we just named it here. So now we're going to the matrix. Okay, so in the process evaluation, we want to determine how long does it take someone to do this. Okay, so I'm going to say that it takes no hours, but it may take 7 minutes perhaps. Okay, and then what is the cost per run? Okay, so I'm going to say maybe it costs $5 for maybe that staff member for that 7 minutes. And, you just kind of would get an analysis of how much would it actually cost to run this. And then how often is this ran? This one is ran at least every day. And so if someone needed to go back in and maybe get any updates or anything like that, we could easily say oh goodness, we could easily say that it is, maybe 500 times a day. Or not per day, sorry, per month. 500 per month. All right, so that's our cost analysis there. Now our category here, we're going to go ahead and this one's pre-built with an RPA POC category. And then now this is the matrix. We hadn't gotten into any of this yet. All right. But this is the matrix. So the cost analysis is not part of your process matrix. But as we start looking at the qualifiers over here and the benefits of our use case, and remember again, our use case is to come out here and to download this file. That's just one of them. Let me go to our other one, which is RPA. Actually, let me get that URL, RPA. Oh, it's DDT. There it is. Okay. This is another one we might use. I don't know. I'll figure out which one we're going to use. But this is another bot site that I like to interact with. Or both of these are ours. So anyway, in this case, we can either have the bot to download some files here. So files could be here. There's the EMS daily transport list. We could also do claims. We have a claim chart. We could scrape data off of the page. So there are several things that can be done here. And then there's also another thing that is a sales order demo that you could take data from a form and populate that data in here for the bot. That's going to be something that I am actually working on for another demo. So be glad to share some of that with you. At any rate, we're going to talk about the first one, the simple one here, where we're going to download that transport list. Okay, so as we go through this, you'll see what each of these means. I'm not going to point by point go through it in great detail, but I do want you to read through them. There is a trailhead on Trailhead Academy that you can get a lot of information on all of these, and I highly recommend that. So I'm going to say that this is a very good rule-based process. The input-output, the data is digital. It's going to be a digital output. Does the process change often? Minimum changes, but it could. If the database changed, that would be different. We are getting, in our case, the data type is going to be a file, so it will ultimately be text and perhaps some numbers. Is the output quality needed for improvement? It could be improved some. We're going to roll with that one. Is it very complex? It's not terribly complex what you have to do, but we'll run it in the middle there. And then actually it's very simple. Let's go that way. And then the risk on this one, what if we don't get the data? Well, there is a risk because then we can't bill the customers for their EMS transports. So we do want to go ahead and put it in that category. Now, all of this is subject to be discussed over hours of meetings with your client to determine what their qualifiers and their benefits are. But you see in this case, we're in the green. Now, does that approve it? No. What if we weren't in the green? What if we were actually, in the red and they're like, well, this is not a good fit, but we want to do it anyway? You could do that. So it's not going to be something that matters one way or another. It is a matter of you stating what is going to make sense to your customer. Okay, so we'll save this one. I'll save it for right now. And then it's going to be ready for approval. Do you want to approve this one? And this is what matters. This is the big ticket. Do you want to approve it? I am the project manager. Yes, I'll go ahead and approve this one. Okay. Oops. Oh, because I haven't sent anybody up. Hold on a second. Yeah. I should have an RPA group here. Let me do org high level. How's that? So we'll use a team org eye level. All right. I hope I'm in that team. But at any rate, now we're ready. This is evaluated, and we can see the cost per month is $2,500 that we're going to be saving. So anyway, this is what you can get as an idea for just the evaluation. So we have gone quickly through an evaluation. Now we're ready to move forward and design it. Okay, so this is where we start doing the design, like, what do we really want it to do? And so we'll do a recording whereby the bot, we capture the design. So again, this is only the design. We're not actually building or doing anything too detailed yet. This is just going to be where we are going to capture what we want this bot to do in a design category. So we completed evaluate. We're going down into design. Now, this is kind of a category where someone is a business user. They're really not, maybe a business analyst. They're really not a deep developer for RPA. They are going to be somebody who says, okay, I know this business process better than anybody, and here's what I want it to do. So that's the purpose of the design phase. So when we come in here and we do this design, we want to make sure that we capture as the business analyst. So put a business analyst hat on. We want to capture what we want this bot to do. All right. And we're going to use the RPA recorder. Now, this recorder is going to be on the virtual machine that the bot, or I should say, an exact copy or blueprint of the virtual machine where the bot's actually going to be running. Okay, that's very important. And it does need to be, and I'll get you also a specification sheet of what is required for that virtual machine. It must be a Windows-based system, operating system, preferably server. So what I have here is a virtual machine, and I have the recorder and the builder already set up on this. Okay. And so this is where I'm going to be working to record what I want this bot to do. All right, so back to here, what we will do is we're going to advance this into the design phase, and we're going to use the RPA recorder. So you're seeing segments of the RPA recorder in RPA Manager, and then you're seeing the window of RPA recorder on the right. And we will start to map out what we want the bot to do at a high level. So this is kind of like very similar to MuleSoft in where we're creating and designing our API specifications. This is kind of like that level. This is kind of high level. Now there's some icons over here on the left that are part of the recording icons. Okay. And when we get there, this is what we will do. We'll do, by the way, hi Ryan, welcome, welcome. I'm taking next Friday to do part 2 of this. In which case we're going to be hands-on keyboard next Friday.
2 RPAs in a row.
I love it.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, that's what we're going to do. So they can do hands-on keyboard. So at any rate, as you're going to see this come up as we are making this recording. All right. So I'm going to get us here and show you in a demo form that our test evaluation is done. And now if I go to my RPA at the top and I go to my backlog. All right, you're not there yet. Oh, evaluation. Hold on. Process evaluation. I forgot to do a part of this. Wah. Yeah, I'm not the person that can do this. I can only see it. Diane made a mistake. Okay, so let me see here. When I save that, it will, hey, a demo is only good if you mess up, right? Team tasks. All right, let me try team tasks. Ugh. All right. It won't show under my user. All right, I'm going to do another one. So you're going to see me go through another evaluation real quick. New evaluation. All right, so this one's going to be DK eval 2. Category RPA. Save. And I don't have to do that part. Don't have to do that part. This is a fast version. All right, now it's given me what I need over here. And it's wanting to know, am I going to approve it? Yes, I'm going to approve it. Why is it not? Oh, you know what? I bet I didn't give my account the project manager part. Yeah, okay. So there'll be some things to fix on here with the accounts that I'm not going to take time to do today because I can bypass this. And instead, remember I told you don't have to do the evaluation. You can jump right into a process. Well, we're going to jump right into a process. Okay, so now the process name is going to be DK. We're going to do new process, which of course naming convention would be more applicable to what we are actually going to build. Okay. But in this case, I might do multiples. I don't know. So this owner, now it's giving project manager, and you come down to where we're going to give our user the access for each phases of the life cycle. Okay. But if you had someone only doing design or only doing build or whatever, this is where you could manage who does what. All right. And we do want to select a category here. That'd be the RPA POCs and save it. So all I did here was just getting started. Let me go ahead and click on save. And now we're going to start automating. Okay. It is now at the life cycle. Notice our life cycle is up here. We've got design, build, test, production. So we're in our life cycles at the top. And we're going to go through and do a actual recording. Here's your recording icon. But if you try to do this on your own system and it's not, you know, it's not intended to be ran directly on your system, it needs to be associated with an AnyPoint account that does have the entitlements that we talked about. Okay, it does have this entitlement to it for the RPA manager. So I'm going to jump into the virtual machine. I'm going to go ahead and log into AnyPoint in here because I want to create it where it's going to run, or at least pretend that it's going to run here. And like I said, there are certain specifications that you want to make sure there's enough memory. You have everything you need for it to run. Let's see if I can remember what my password is here. Yay. Surprising. All right. So here now we're inside the VM. Notice this at the top. That tells you that I'm in the virtual machine. Everybody good? Can everybody hear me and everything's going well? Any questions? Everyone good?
We're sounding great. Following along,
right, cool.
Doing great.
Making sure. All right, so I'm going to go to RPA Manager. And this is where it matters that you have to have that association with RPA Manager, with an account that has this entitlement. Because I'm going to go ahead and click on our new process that we're working on. And it's in the design phase, and I want to record what I want it to do. So I'm going to click on Record BPMN, and notice it comes up with Open MuleSoft RPA Recorder. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and now it's going to bring up the recorder also. It's loading. If you did not have it installed in your VM or on your system, it would, tell you that it's not installed. Mine is installed. And so now it's going to ask me to log in again to Anypoint. This is where the recorder becomes associated with Anypoint platform. Okay, even though I'm logged in on the browser, that doesn't matter. What it's looking for is here. All right, and now the recorder comes up. Okay, so there it is. Now we have the recorder. So what the recorder is going to do is, as we record what we want the bot to do, it's going to be tracking and putting up these little activity boxes of what we want it to do. And as we put in these little activity boxes, these boxes are going to be reflected here inside of the recorder window. Okay. So you tell it what stages you want. Now, someone's asked me, can you go in here and just start adding these different squares and everything and create it? Yes, you can. But again, we're running through as though this is a business analyst, and this business analyst is going to be capturing what they want it to do each step along the way. Okay, so back in the VM, and I'm going to go ahead. I need to do one thing and get a couple of, I'll wing it. Let's wing it. It's always fun to wing it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and click on, I think I've got it here. Hold on. I'm needing the website credentials is what I'm after. And I stand by for a quick little break here.
I could hum elevator music.
Yeah, go for it, Ryan.
Wait,
Sounds good.
I forgot the melody.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I'm going to wing it. We'll wing it here. Okay, because it doesn't really matter even if we don't have all of the details in, but it's going to record the process. All right. So the big thing is we're going to click on this red camera icon here. So notice there's that activity parameter, right? Or the activity box here. And on the bottom right, I also want you to notice the window here, the panel here. It's not recording anything yet. Notice the timer is not running. Okay, so the timer on my VM is not running, but it popped up and said, what are you going to do? Okay, and so now I'm going to tell it what we want it to do, and it's going to create our different steps along the way. Whether Diane succeeds or fails in remembering all of this stuff, I don't know. We're going to see. I'm looking to see if I happen to have it. Doesn't matter. All right, so we're going to add an activity. And the first activity might be what? What do you think we need to tell? Now, you've got to think in very, very simple terms. It's a bot. It's like probably a 2-year-old. What do you need to tell it to do first?
Pick a letter.
To do what?
Pick a letter.
Pick a letter?
Or pick a color.
Oh, pick a color. That's good. No, we're wanting it to do this process of going to this web page. So what do we want it to do first? Maybe go to the web page?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Launch the web page, go to the web page?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's say launch web page. And now there's options over here on the right. You can either have this be a bot task where you are even more detailed on what you want it to do. It can be a web task. And in our case, ours is a web task. That's fine. So we'll click on web task. Or you could also have a user task and they would have different options as well. So we're going to go with the web task for this. It's kind of like, honestly, the easiest one. So we'll click on add. And so what it's going to do is it's going to launch a browser page for me. I think I'm going to go with, I'm going to scrape the page on this one here. I'm gonna do this one instead of the other one that we were gonna do. So I'm jumping a little, sorry, but I happen to know the credentials for this page. But at any rate, we're gonna go to, so what I'm going to do, notice my timer's running down there. That doesn't matter, it's okay for time. But I want to paste in the URL of the web page I want the bot to go to. Upper left here, see it? And then I'm going to use the arrow on the right to send it there. Okay, so I'll click on the arrow on the right to send it there. So now I'm on the web page and I've done what I needed it to do. Bottom area down here, I'm going to click the plus sign. And what the plus sign does is it stops the recording and it lets me add another activity. So now I'm going to say login, and I'm going to go ahead and change the from a bot task to a web task. Okay, and we're already in a web session. So notice the web session. I'm going to click on that. So I'm going to tell it I want to do the login at this point, and I want to continue with the existing web session, and go ahead and click on add. And let me make sure I have my credentials here. All right, so I'm ready for it to trigger off. So again, this is going to be recording when we start this. So I'm going to click on add, and it's currently recording. We're down there. All right, so I'm going to bring my mouse on the web page area, and I'm going to click on the word login. Now it brings me to the login screen, and I'm going to come down and click on log in with email. Okay. And then I'm going to position my cursor. Well, actually, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop there. Let's go ahead and do the plus. Okay. And now I'm going to say username or add username and password. You can break this out however you want. I'm just showing you that you can. Add username, password, and it's going to be another web task. Continue with the existing session. Click add, which I really need my password. So let me see if I can grab that really quick. So Ryan, hum again, or RJ, hum. We have any singers in the room?
Do 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 do.
Go.
That's better than what I would do. Much better. We don't want anybody leaving, so Ryan, continue.
This is true. Any questions, folks?
Singing is not something I had on my job description for integration quest.
I think you should do it. I think you're doing a good job. Yeah. I had it in my deeper notes here.
Singing?
Yeah. No, not singing. No. I certainly am not going to be singing today. Yeah, hold on here. This one's going to be, yeah, just a mini break here, folks. Mini break. I'm going to find it.
I thought it was RJ singing. Goes with the name RJ. The
There
radio
you
show.
go.
Hey, Diane, how are you?
That's right.
I
I'm
am
going to let Ryan continue.
I am doing great. How are you?
Good. It has been long.
Yes, too long. We need to connect for sure. All right, I'm almost there. It's bad when you've got these things saved in random places, you know. But well, I might have to fake it. It'll let me in anyway, I think. I'm not locating that password, and it's something really hard because my sweet friend Whitney created that, and she made it really a hard one. So it's not even one I can guess at. Let me see if we have it in our Slack channel here. Let's see what's pinned. Nope, not there. Okay, we're gonna wing it. Here we go. So we're gonna add this. I know the email, and I'm gonna just put something there. and we'll do login. Yeah. Okay. So it's not going to let us go forward in that. But we still can do stuff on the page. So I'm going to pretend like that did work. Everybody good about pretending on that for right now? And we're going to pause here and let me go to the next page there. And we'll do the next add activity is retrieve claim listing, because we're going to scrape the page. And this will actually be, again, a web task. And next Friday, I'll have everything lined up where we have credentials and all that good stuff. And let's see if it'll let me advance out of this login, because it should still let me scrape the page. Come on. You going to do it? There we go. Okay. So I'm going to let this close that page. And again, to go, now it's recording me, so it's going to navigate. I'm going to click on more and navigate to the claim chart. Okay, navigate to the claim chart. And again, we can pause it. Like I said, you could map that out however you want. Now we're going to extract claim data. And that'll be a web task. And we'll click add. So when I start this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Control A. Ooh, that's really far and wide. And Control C. See what this is going to do. Let me try it again. Control A, Control C. So it's copied it into the clipboard. And then I'm going to stop the recording, which is the checker flag. And that's where it will stop. So that was kind of probably a botched job of a recording, but notice what we have here. Okay. And here is our list. If we wanted to, we could have extracted and downloaded the file. We could have done different things. It'll still work without the password, hint, hint. But let me see what happens as we go forward with this, because it will have details here in each of these recorded steps. All right, so we're kind of coming down to the wire on time here. But let me go ahead and say that I am done with this and I am ready to upload this. So I'm going to click on the editor here for the recorder to edit and upload the recordings. And so for each step that I've done, I'm going to see the documentation from that step. The login, I'm going to see the documentation. Add password. Okay, so this is all just captured of what, there we go, it captured the copy and paste of what we wanted to do through the RPA. Now there's an upload here, little arrow here, upload to RPA Manager. And what this is going to do is send it back to RPA Manager. All right, and from here, that's where we will see it be in the build mode. Okay, so here's the visuals on it. And this will bring us back into RPA Manager, but into the build, more detailed phase here. All right, so let's see what's happening. If it did finish, yep, it uploaded successfully. So we have an okay there. And we can go ahead and close this window for the recorder, close this window for the recorder, go into RPA Manager and refresh this page, and voila, it's going to be here. Okay, so this is now what we've told the bot to do. And again, if we click on these, you'll see the documentation down below for each of the steps, okay, of what we did. So nicely documented, visualizer. So if someone was a business analyst and they designed this, then you would come in as the builder. And when I do, I will know what they're needing. So from the designer, if they were happy with the work they did to get this built, they're going to go ahead and publish it. And this publishes it to the next life cycle here, the next phase in RPA Manager. So I'm going to release it to build. And when it's now released to build, oh, we got errors now. Why? Okay, when we recorded it, there were no errors. Now when it's brought in to build, the editor is going, you can't, this is not good enough. It's not defined enough in the RPA builder to be able to move forward. Okay, so now we need to go into the RPA builder. And where we locate that is we've got the RPA builder. So now I'm going to launch the RPA builder and also connect it to Anypoint platform to be able to see our different processes that we have. I've got four processors or four different processes out there now. And those different processes are going to show up here in RPA Builder. Okay, so Builder takes a little while to load. It's pretty normal that it takes a few minutes. Well, not minutes really, but it takes a little time because it is very, very large. RJ, I see your message now. The kids usually tell you to stop when you... Wasn't one of the kids... Who cried when you sang? Who was that?
Yeah, so that was our 6-year-old. Well, she wasn't 6 at the time, thankfully. She would cry if I was singing. But I was going to tell a funny story too. When I call this, there's this one company, when I call them, they have this AI generated song, and it goes kind of like this, where the guy singing and says, "Here I am just waiting on an operator." So I was going to do something like that, just kind of, hymn out a song for you. Here I am waiting on this password.
You've got like
Diane's
a country music.
Hey, that's what I've been told, Ryan. I
I
appreciate
like it.
Yeah,
That's good. That's a compliment.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
There
that
you
was
go.
just from the heart. That was from the heart. Just wanted to share that with y'all.
We appreciate it. That's pretty cool.
Hey, no
yeah. You could really maybe get a following on this.
Everybody here is looking at me, so I'm going to stop though. They're like,
at your house. Oh, the kids are looking at you.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. Okay, so you see that took a little time. Probably was a minute or so. And this is on a pretty decent sized virtual machine, which, by the way, don't skimp. If you're going to use RPA to build this out, make sure you're at least 16 gig. I like to even use a little higher than that. I don't know what this one is right off. Ryan, it was one of the ones we created. So I'm not sure. But you can't skimp because it's a miserable experience if your RAM
I guarantee all of our bot machines are offline unless you turned them on.
Yeah, I turned this one on. This is the one I'm using.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they're off. But what I mean, the RAM, we want to make sure that, because I created one that I think was way too slow. Anyway, all right. So what do we need here? We need the RPA manager address. That is the URL, the host name up here, that we fought long and hard to get it to say integration quest, didn't we, Ryan? Remember that? Ryan's speechless.
He just said he'll be right back. He gave a BRB.
Okay, so we really fought for it to be, they gave us something different at first, and we were like, no, it's got to be integration quest. All right, so you're going to have a different RPA manager depending upon where you're actually building this in association with your Anypoint platform account. Okay, so we'll click on continue once you got the RPA manager address there. And then it'll say open RPA builder. Now we've got we should have to log in unless it saved my credentials. Yeah, it saved my credentials from before. All right, but normally you would have to log in. I'm going to minimize the page behind it so you can see this better. And it is across the top. This is welcome to the RPA builder. So this is going to have your host name and your username at the top. And this is if I'm jumping between different accounts, and I do that, you can click on the options here and come down to account and be able to sign out and sign back in under another RPA manager and username and password. So you can hop between those. And now if I come over here on the left-hand side, I'm going to go full screen here. There's of course your navigation tabs at the top. Under Project Explorer, there is one called Repo. And this repo is going to show us the different processes that are available out here. Okay, so there's the EMS, daily transport process, the one that we just worked on that I botched a little bit, and then the RPA bot fun process. Now, remember I told you there's 4 of them in my process management. I've got 4. Oh, well, no, I didn't want to go there. Hold on. My processes, I've got 4 of them. However, only 3 are in the build phase. This 4th one is not in the build phase. I've already released it to test. So I can essentially test that one from any point platform. Okay. But these other 3 that are in build are the 3 that you are seeing here. So I could click on our first one that we worked on. That's kind of botched a little bit, but it may not run correctly because I didn't do the username and password correctly. However, here is our steps. There is the launch the web page. And now it's showing the navigate. If I click this open, it's going to have the URL that I put in. Okay. And likewise for the other steps. Now, what I want to show you, because we've got 1 minute left, I want to show you that you can run these directly here. Okay. We can run them directly here to see how it's going to behave. And so I know that this one here, the RPA bot fun process. Ooh, my credentials are there, by the way. All right, so I'll get your credentials. This one is going to run. So when I click on run here, run the process, it's going to actually run this bot process that I built earlier. This one is the transport list off of the other site. Watch. So this is the bot process running. It's not the bot. It's what I programmed it or I configured it earlier in the design. So next you're going to see the web page come up. There's the web page. And next it's going to go to the next step. It's going to click on login. There you go, logging in. Now it's going to go get the files to download. So this is a little different process, but it'll go to the files to download. Now what's really cool about this is it's not completed yet as far as the details of the build. I'll save that for next Friday. But I'll walk you through the rest of this process for building up to Friday. And this should be finishing out. I don't know why it's taking a little time. But let me also show you to conclude one of the one that I told you about regarding credentialing is this one here. So watch the reading on this bot process. And what it's going to do is go to 3 different websites. So they can be more comprehensive. The first one's going to go to the American Heart Association. Okay, so it's going to that website. It's going to use a user's e-card code and verify that their credential that they sent us is valid. So we will in turn download that person's e-card and now have it ready. Really, we could send it into IDP and validate that against what they sent in their resume, right? So we could validate that it had not expired or whatever the case may be, or that they just had it. It may be one that doesn't expire. Now, this is the Red Cross on this one, again, using a certification number, going and getting their basic life support. Okay, so this is downloaded. So what we are doing here is getting their valid certifications from the actual websites. Now, this third one is Georgia State Licensure. So it's going to the license state, and it will even pull up her Georgia State license details and if it has expired. And again, then we can take that information and check it against her resume. So this is for credentialing. And the other one to show you really quick is this one. And this is what we just tried to run. It kind of got stuck, but this is going to show you it running through that. This is a recording of that other one. But you will do this. You can create this. Now, the next step after this, I'm going to wrap this pretty quick. The next step after this would be when to go in and do the detailed build. And we do the detailed build by giving it specific step-by-step instructions. That username and password gets put into a kind of the activity parameters, and it's encrypted. So everything is very secure. And then we will progress along with the life cycle on next Friday. So there you have it, folks. That's all we have time for today, and more for next Friday. So if you're interested in getting a account that you can jump on with us and do hands-on with us, let's talk. Let us know. Send us a message. And otherwise, I'm going to continue next Friday. I'll pick up where we left off. If there's new people doing hands-on keyboard, I'll bring you up to speed on that. And then we'll go in and I'll show some detailed build portions and then testing it and getting it into into production. So
That's
fun
awesome
stuff.
Looking forward to it.
Yep.
That was a great job. Thank you for showing that. And yeah, that's a good, nice build the next week. Looking forward to that for sure. Does anybody have any questions?
Awesome.
Thank you, Christian.
Yeah,
Appreciate
Kristen,
it.
send us a
Have an
message.
account. Yeah.
Do you have his email? You do have his email from don't you? From the registration?
Oh yeah. We can get your email, Christian. Yeah. If your email on Integration Quest is good, we can contact you on there and get that to you. No
Awesome.
problem.
Very good. Finn, you've got it already. Sanam, you should have this too. Don't you have access to it?
I think I should have it, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check it.
Yeah, let me know. So if it's Christian, Finn, and Sanam for Friday, I will make sure you're set up, and then we'll be prepared to go in and I'll figure out exactly which site we're going to use and get that nailed out for you. Okay?
Sounds good.
Good deal.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be there on Friday.
Okay, Finn.
I'll watch the recording though.
All right, no problem. And are you available earlier in the week?
Yes, early
Okay.
weekend. Well, only the 14th and the 13th I'll be available.
Okay, all right. We'll figure out a game plan.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll watch the recording. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sounds good. All right, folks. Well, hey, have a great weekend. If you're starting the weekend early, otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day.
Absolutely.
Happy
We'll see
weekend.
everybody that can make it here next week to part 2. We'll plan on seeing you then. And thank you so much for coming out today. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording. Thank you.